I know why you clicked on this video. You failed an exam, maybe even more than one. And now you have a retake coming up in a few weeks, probably in late July or August, and you're sitting there trying to figure out how to make this time different from the last one. And there's probably a voice in the back of your head saying something like, maybe I'm just not smart enough for this subject, or I studied so hard and I still failed. So what is the point of even trying again? I need you to hear this clearly. Failing an exam does not mean you are bad at the subject. I have coached hundreds of students, and I can tell you that in the vast majority of cases, the problem was never the intelligence. The problem was their study strategy. And the way you studied the first time did not match what the exam was actually testing. And if you go into your reset doing the exact same thing you did before, you will very likely get the same result. This video is the full comeback plan. I'm going to walk you through how to figure out what actually went wrong, how to build a study plan for the next 4 to 6 weeks that is completely different from your first attempt, and how to handle the mental side of retakes, because that part is as important as the studying itself. But just one quick thing before we start. One of the students I work with went from academic probation to an A+ average in about 3 months using the exact methods I'm about to show you. The difference was just having someone help her apply the methods properly. If you ever want that kind of help, I'll leave a link to my study coach community in the description. Anyway, let's back up and start with the hardest part, the reflection why we failed. Before you study for your resit, you need to sit down and figure out why you failed. And don't tell yourself that you did not study enough or something like that. That is probably too vague to be useful. You need to get very specific on what the real problem was. There are really only 4 reasons that students fail exams, and most students have 2 or 3 exams happening at the same time, so that makes it even more complex. The first reason is gaps in actual knowledge. You simply did not know certain topics well enough. Maybe you skipped a few lectures, maybe you ran out of time during the revision and you never got to the last chapters. Maybe there were concepts that you thought you understood, but when the exam question hit, you realized that you could not apply the information. The second reason is the wrong study method. You covered all of the material, but the way that you studied it did not help put your information into your long-term memory. You reread your notes, you highlighted the textbook, you watched the lecture recordings again, and all of that felt productive in the moment, but when you sat down in the exam hall, you could not pull the information out of your head when you actually needed it. The third reason is your exam strategies or your exam techniques. You knew the material, but you did not know how to answer the questions the way that the examiner wanted. Maybe you ran out of time because you spent too long on the first few questions. Maybe your essay answers were too vague and lacked the specific details the marking scheme required. Maybe you misread what the question was actually asking and answered something slightly different. And that is completely normal. That happens a lot, but we need to fix that. Fourth reason is mental state. You went into the exam exhausted, anxious, or maybe even both. And maybe you crammed the night before the exam and you showed up for the exam with only like 4 hours of sleep. Maybe your anxiety was so high that your mind went blank the moment that you turned over the paper and saw the first question. Maybe you panicked after seeing a question that you did not recognize, and that led to you performing not well enough for the rest of the exam as well. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think back to your first attempt and be brutally honest with yourself about which of these 4 reasons applies to you. Write them down. If you still have access to your exam paper or your results breakdown, look at it. Which questions did you lose your marks on? Were they part of something specific, or was it across everything? Did you lose marks for not knowing the content or for not explaining it properly? If you can remember specific questions from the exam, even roughly, write those down too, because those questions are going to be extremely helpful when we want to practice again. They tell you exactly what the examiner thinks is going to be important. And there's a very good chance that similar questions, sometimes even the same questions, just with different numbers, will appear on your resit. So do that now. This reflection is going to be uncomfortable, okay? Nobody enjoys looking at their own failures in detail, but it is the single most important step in this entire process because it tells you exactly what we need to fix. Now, let me show you how to build a study plan that actually addresses the thing that went wrong. The biggest mistake research students make is treating their retake preparation like a repeat of their first attempt. They pull out the same notes, open the same textbook, and start from chapter 1 all over again. They do the same thing in the same order using the same methods, and then they are shocked when the result is similar. Your resit preparation should look nothing like your first attempt. Everything changes. The topics that you prioritize, the methods that you use, the way that you spend your time, everything is different. Now, here is the plan. Week 1 is your foundation week. This week, you're setting up the system. Day 1 and 2, do the reflection I just described. Identify the gaps in your knowledge, your problem in your study methods, your exam technique issues, and your mental state issues. Write all of them down. Day 3, get your hands on every past paper and practice exam that you can find for this subject. If your university posts past paper online, download all of them. If they do not, ask classmates, check student forums, or email the department and ask for them. Past papers are valuable resources for resit preparation because they show you exactly what the examiner considers important and how they phrase their questions. Now, day 4 and day 5, take one of those past papers under exam conditions. Time yourself and do it without notes or a phone. Treat it like a real exam and then mark yourself or compare your answers to the model answers if they are available. And this tells you exactly where you stand right now. 3 to 5 weeks before the resit, and it shows you exactly where the gaps are. This is super important information. Day 6, you build your weekly study plan based on the gaps. List every topic the exam covered. For each topic, rate yourself honestly. Do I know this well? Do I partly know this? Or do I not know this at all? And the topics that you do not know at all get the most attention and time. The topics you partly know, you study them again to fill the gaps. And the topics that you already get good scores on, light revision to keep them fresh. And that is the priority order. Day 7, about rest. You're going to need it. Weeks 2 and 3 are going to be your content weeks. And this is where you do a lot of studying. But there is the critical difference from your first attempt. You're not going to reread anything. You're not going to highlight anything. You're going to be studying with retrieval practice. For every topic on your list, the process is the same. Read the material or watch the lecture, then close everything and try to write down from memory the key concepts, the definitions, the formulas, and the arguments. Do not look at your notes while you write. Just write whatever you can recall. Then open your notes and check what you've missed. The things you missed are the things that you study again tomorrow. And this might feel uncomfortable, and it definitely feels much harder than reading through your notes. And that is exactly why it works. Your brain has to actually now work to pull the information out of your memory. And that effort is what builds the strong, lasting connections that survive on exam pressure. Rereading feels easy because your brain is barely working, and that is why it does not work and did not work for you in the first time. Do this for every topic in priority order. So spend most of your time on the topics you rated as do not know anything at all. Spend less time on the partial topics. And for the topics you already know, a single retrieval attempt once a week is probably enough to keep them fresh. Week 4 or week 4 and 5, if you have a 6-week window, is your exam simulation phase. This is where everything comes together. Take a full past paper under exam conditions again, and I want you to do that every 2 or 3 days. Time yourself strictly, and after each paper, do a review. Go through every question. And for the one that you got wrong, identify why. What is the knowledge gap that I still have? Was it an exam technique issue? Was it a timing problem? Write down the specific topics and the skills that you need to work on more and study those before your next practice paper. By the time that you have done 3 or 4 full practice papers with these reviews, 2 things will have happened. First, you will have identified and closed most of the remaining knowledge gaps. And second, you will feel familiar with the format, the timing, and the pressure of the exam. And that familiarity will reduce anxiety dramatically. You will now know what to expect in the exam. Now, let me talk about exam techniques specifically, because that is also important. Because a lot of research students, they lose marks without they even realize it. If you failed an essay-based question, go back and look at how you structured your answers. Most students who lose marks on the essay do so because their answers are too general. They write broad, vague response, and that shows surface level understanding. The examiner wants specific details, specific theories, specific examples that you discuss, specific evidence. If you wrote, there are several factors that influence this, and left it there, that is why you lose marks. The examiner wanted you to name the factors, explain each one, and cite the relevant research or case study that you used to back it up. If you failed a problem-based exam, look at where you lost marks in your calculations or your working. Did you set up the problem correctly but make a calculation mistake? Did you use the wrong formula? Did you not show enough working? A lot of students, they again lose mark not because they could not solve the problem, but because they did not show the examiner how they arrived at the answer. Make sure to show every single step. If you ran out of time, practice strict time allocation before you resit. Look at the exam format, how many questions, how many marks, and how much total time. Then divide your time accordingly. If question 1 is worth 20% of the mark, it gets 20% of your time. I want you to set a timer for each question during your practice papers and force yourself to move on when when the timer goes off, even if you have not finished. You will almost always score higher if you write slightly shorter answers on every question as compared to a half-finished exam with only 2 perfect answers. Then let me address the mental side, because this might be the part that matters the most. Retakes carry a psychological weight that goes beyond the academic challenge, because there's shame, there's frustration, there's the fear of failure again, and there's the loneliness of studying in July or August while your friends are on holiday posting pictures on the beach and you're sitting there at your desk going through flashcards. I want to be honest with you about all of this. The shame is normal. Every research student feels it. You feel like you let yourself down. Maybe your parents down. Maybe you feel embarrassed around your classmates. But here is what I need you to remember. Resits exist because universities know that failure is a normal part of learning. You are not the first person to retake an exam, and you will also not be the last. The fact that you are preparing for a retake instead of giving up tells me more about your character than any exam grade ever could. Because the frustration is also normal, especially if you feel like you studied hard the first time but still failed. That frustration is super valid. I experienced it before. But channel it into changing your approach, not into beating yourself up. The goal of this entire video is to make sure that the effort that you put in this time actually produces results, because it probably was not effort that was missing before. It was strategy most of the time. The fear of failing, again, is the one that can actually paralyze you. Again, I know this. It can make you avoid studying altogether, because not trying feels safer than trying and failing twice. If you're feeling that, again, I understand. But avoidance guarantees the outcome that you are afraid of. The only way through the fear is through the preparation. And if you follow the plan that I just gave you, your preparation this time will be fundamentally different from what you did before. Different methods produce different results. And then the loneliness, studying while your friends are free, is genuinely hard. You're going to see their stories. You're going to get invitations you have to decline. You're going to feel like you are missing out. 2 things will help with this. The first is to schedule social time into the plan. You're not going to study 24 hours a day. Build in evenings with your friends and at least 1 full day off per week. And protect those just as much as you would protect your study blocks. You need to recharge. The second is to find even one other person who's also retaking exam, a study partner, an accountability buddy, someone who sends you a text each morning and each evening saying what they studied that day. Going through this with someone else, even remotely, makes it significantly more bearable than doing it completely alone. So let me give you the weekly template for a 5-week reset plan. Again, in week 1, reflection, resource gathering, diagnostic test, build the plan. This is the setup week or the setup days. Then week 2, study your weakest topics using retrieval practice. Close the notes, recall from memory, check it, repeat it, make practice problems. Do this for 3 to 4 hours per day, 5 days a week, and then take 1 or 2 days off. In week 3, continue with content, moving from your weakest topics to partial weak topics. Start mixing in short practice questions at the end of each day to test what you studied and if you still retain it. Then by week 4, first full practice paper under exam condition. Very honest review, study the gaps that it reveals, and then second practice paper 2 days later already, and review again. Repeat that process every 2 days. Week 5, final practice paper at the start of the week, light review of your weakness list for the next few days, and the day before the exam, do 1 final recall session, get your things ready, and go to bed early. You have done the work. I want you to trust it. Failing an exam does not define you, but how you respond to it definitely does. Most research students, they fail again because they repeat the same approach that did not work for them in the first place. Do not do that, okay? Figure out exactly what went wrong. Build your study plan from the ground up using methods that actually produce lasting memory. Practice under exam conditions until the format feels familiar, and take care of your mental health throughout the whole process. 4 to 6 weeks is enough time. It is more than enough if you use it strategically. You're not starting from zero because you already have a foundation from your first attempt. You are filling the gaps and reinforcing the structure, and that is a much smaller job than building from scratch, from nothing. You've got this, okay? And I'm not saying this to be nice. I'm saying it because students who follow a structured reset plan consistently outperform their first attempt. The second chance is not a punishment. It is an opportunity that most of life does not give you. University do. If you want to learn more about the specific study techniques that will help you retain more information under exam pressure, then check out this next video.